Welcome back, diamonds, and welcome to the new diamonds. Welcome to the diamonds family. We have fun here. Basically today, as you probably have already noticed, we're going to be talking about yeast infections and the vagina, and how to keep her clean, how to keep her safe, and what basically is yeast infection and what causes it. So let's get into it. So growing up, we used to call the vagina unondombi in my family, and I know that most people would argue and say that calling a vagina unondombi nowadays is not safe, because, or any name actually is not safe, because when the child is being molested or being raped, they can't exactly verbalize it. So yeah, so calling a vagina different names, it probably is not the safest way to go, parents. Just refer to it, just be comfortable with calling her a vagina, because when your child is in danger, there is no way for you to know, or maybe it's hard. It's really hard for a child to go to their parent and say, uncle so and so is touching me, or so and so is touching me, or sis ban is forcing me to do certain things to her. So it can be very very hard for the child to disclose. So just try to be comfortable with teaching your child that a vagina is a vagina, and a bum is a bum, and boobs are boobs, you know. Just be comfortable. Actually, go as far as teaching her that these are the lips of your vagina, this is your clitoris, this is just go as far as educating her about everything, you know, just, or him actually, that this is your penis, this is your shaft, this is your, teach the kids everything, you guys, because the world is not as safe as it used to be, and things are just happening. And actually, if you actually go back, even years ago, molestation was happening, rape was happening, but people just could not go ahead and address it. But that's a topic for another day. Today we're going to be talking about the vagina, yeast infection, and how to keep your vagina safe. So if you keep on seeing me looking down, I'm looking at my script, because remember we said we're going to follow a script because I talk a lot. So basically, let's start with cleaning your vagina. Now, most people don't know that the reason that sometimes you have a really bad odor is because just as much as our armpits have sweat glands, the vagina also have sweat glands. So it varies with people. Some people, because I know with me that my sweat doesn't go too much to the point that my armpits really release a really bad odor. I also know that my sister, like, her armpits can be, so she needs to keep her armpits really fresh. So it's the same with vagina. You also have sweat glands down there, and some people's sweat glands would release a lot of odor, and it would be very powerful, whereas some people don't. Some people, it's not as bad. But remember, guys, every vagina has an odor. So if your boyfriend or your girlfriend is telling you that, no babes, you shouldn't have, your vagina should smell like roses, girl, please. Everybody has an odor. It just if it's really strong or not too strong. So either way, clean your vagina. So our vagina consists of course, the lips, and of course the clitoris. Now, most of the time the discharge lies in between those lips, and you need to clean that part. So when you're taking a shower in the bathtub, just try and make sure to just get in those corners and just clean her properly, so that she becomes really nice and clean. And just clean everywhere, you know, so that she's just beautifully, naturally clean. Because as we all know that the vagina is a self-cleaning so just try and clean her so that she can just become as close to being as clean and natural smelling as possible, because it cleans itself. So you don't really, okay, so some people normally use those vagina washes that, guys, I which it really messes up with your pH unless a gynecologist has advised you to use it, and maybe it works for you, then stick to it. But me, for myself, I just use fresh clean water to clean her, and this has been advised to me by my gynecologist. This has been advised to me by my mom growing up, that don't use soap, don't use any these things that's supposed to make her smell nice. Guys, she's supposed to have an odor. It's just how it is, you know. If she has an odor, so what? It's your natural odor. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend should just get used to it. It is what it is, okay? Just, yeah. So I use I just use water to clean her, and I've also been advised to also use this soap, this glycerin soap that has no odor. It's from Clicks. I've seen it at Clicks. I don't unfortunately have it because I just use water, but you can also, I'll put up a picture somewhere here that you guys can actually refer to it, that you can get from Clicks. That is something that I would say, okay, you can also use it, because I've also used it and it didn't give me any rashes or any discharges, problems and stuff like that, that you could also maybe try using. There's other things that apparently are supposed to make your vagina smell good. Hi guys, nah, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not going there. So just try and keep her fresh by cleaning her with fresh water, or the soap that I've told you about, or gynecologist approved intimate wash. Because yeah, so that's us cleaning the vagina. And then now also, some people might not know this, but you can actually use baby powder to keep her from sweating too much and releasing too much odors. So just as much as a child uses baby powder to keep her dry down there when she's wearing nappies, we can also actually use baby powder. So Lillets actually has a lovely powder that you guys can also try out. I would always try to stick to the unscented products, or maybe the aloe scented product, because I'd just stick to aloe vera and I'd stick to unscented most of the time, because I just am very familiar with those and I just trust them that they wouldn't give me a problem, and they haven't given me a problem. So if there's no unscented product around, I'll probably look for an aloe scented product. So I would advise with those. So you can actually use that baby powder. I unfortunately don't have it because I really have that bit of an odor there, so I don't really need that. But what I do actually use is I use my panty liners from Lillets, and as you can see, these are unscented. As I said, I love unscented products. And if you actually open it, the lovely thing about Lillets is the fact that they actually put these in sachets. I actually love that. So you can actually just put this in your bag, just slide it in your wallet, and just, you know, whenever you need it, she's there ready, and she's clean because she's in a nice package, so she's just lovely ready for you. So the lovely thing that I love about this Lillets brand is that it's long enough for you to put on your panty, and it covers enough area, you know, because sometimes some panty liners just be so small, like I'd be like, where am I gonna put it, you know? But this is just a normal, and it actually says on the packet that it's regular length, so it's just enough length to cover her, your vagina, and to just keep her fresh during the day. So you can either use panty liners to keep her fresh, and then you can just keep on randomly changing them when you have discharge, because you know some of us really release a lot of discharge, so go with the panty liner. Or some people would even go as far as actually changing the underwear twice. So you'd probably put in underwear in your bag, and then during the day you'd take out that one, put it in a plastic bag in your bag, and then put on the fresh one, because I mean that also works. And for me personally, I just feel like that's just nasty, so I'm not gonna do that. I use my panty liners and just take a shower at night. Now I don't always take a shower at night. There's some nights where I feel like, whew, it's been a long day, I'm gonna take a shower. What I love about these panty liners is that it's designed, this one specifically is designed for panties, and you know, the normal panties that we wear. It's shaped to contour to your body, so to fit to your body. Also, it has a thin liner, so it's not as thick to the point that you'll feel that you're wearing a panty liner as you're walking. It's just really free and it's really accommodating to you, and it's cotton based, guys. Ooh, guys, if you're buying a panty liner or pads, please stick to cotton panty liners or cotton pads, because these ones that have those gels and stuff that are supposed to make her smell good, man, you should do your research on those things. They're not good. But I love the fact that it's cotton based and it's really safe and it's for everyday comfort, so I absolutely love her. So that's what I use on my everyday days where I really have a lot of discharge coming out, like before I go into my period. So I'll have a lot of discharge during those times, so I'll be using her. And also you can use it if you're a woman that is normally very wet, so you can also use panty liners for yourself, or you can use the changing underwear option. So while we're still actually in the panty liner, I think let's just adjust the whole panty liners and what tampons or pads to use. So I don't use pads, but I actually use my I use tampons, but I alternate because, excuse me, I alternate between my pads and my tampons and my panty liners. The reason that is because I wouldn't advise using tampons for a long time. So I use the lillets tampons though, and I use the mini tampons because they just adjust to my body, because I'm a bit petite, so mini is quite good for me and my flow is not that heavy. So you'll know that there's different types. There's mini, there's regular, there's super plus, and sometimes I would actually, if I feel like okay, I need to stop using tampons, I'll then alternate and use my panty liners as a pad, because it's not that heavy, my flow, so I can actually use panty liners as a pad. So during my periods, I would also be using the wipes, or maybe when I'm on my period and I feel like there's just a little odor there, I just need to freshen up, so I'll just wipe her down to be a bit more fresh, wake her up, like, wake up girl. And this is infused with aloe. As I said, I'll scented or I used aloe, so I'm using the infused wipes. And those are the products that I use for my freshness. So I use my lillets, and I use my tampons when I'm on periods, and I also use my wipes just to keep her fresh. Now let's get into the yeast infection. Now there's different types of discharges in your vagina. There's the normal discharge, which is milky, and this is normally more apparent when you're about to have your period. It is milky, it's very light, and it's just milky, and you'll just know when you have it that okay, it's just I'm about to have my period. And sometimes you actually have it, if you're a woman that's really wet, you'll have it just throughout the month, and you can just use your panty liners for that. So there's that discharge, and then we also get now the bad discharge, which is normally known as itrashi, or normally known as yeast infection. So when you have a yeast infection, how do you know? So yeast infections is normally caused by a number of things. It's probably caused by a pH balance that has been interrupted, and sometimes it's caused by an STI, and there's just various reasons for it. So you just need to look that up for yourself and just know which one. Just also maybe realize what you have been doing in your routine that might have maybe upset your pH balance, or maybe if you also are using if you have an unprotected sex,
chances are increased to get it.
Will be very thick consistency of a discharge. It's very thick. When you touch it, you'll actually feel that it's very thick. It kind of has a cottage cheese feel to it, so when you see it, it'll probably come out in a clump, and it's really uncomfortable, because you'll know that your vagina is very sick. So it's just not nice, and the pH will just be upset. She'll either be very
sensitive down there. It might be green, the discharge. It might also be yellow. It will depend how bad the infection is. So I would really recommend you to go and see a doctor as soon as you see your discharge is green or has a change of color, green or yellow. That normally indicates that there is an infection down there.
And that's how you probably know that you probably either have an STI or you have a yeast infection. So that's time for you to actually go and have it checked out at your gynecologist. So yeast infection, to recapture, it will either be yellow and have a cottage cheesy feel to it, or it will either be green when it's an STI and it will really have a very bad smell. And that's when you really know that you need to go and see your gynecologist, and so that you can get medication for that. So I remember when I had thrush, I went to see my gynecologist and he gave me this K-Nex, I think it's K-Nex. He gave me this tube that I'll link up the name, what it's called, for the yeast infection that I had. I used to insert it for 5 days every night, and I wouldn't be able to insert it in my vagina during the day because obviously it cleans up your vagina and it takes everything out that's in there. So at night I would insert it in my tube and take it out and then insert it into my vagina, and then I would go and sleep, and when I wake up the next morning, it would have cleaned up everything that's in there, and then taken it out and I wash, clean up my vagina, and then the next night again for 5 days I would do that. And then normally on the 6th day you'll see actually on the 3rd day you'll see a change. The itch will have gone down, and the odor will probably go down from the 5th day. You won't smell the odor anymore, that bad fishy odor. And you'll also see the decrease in the discharge that is coming out, that is clumpy and that is just cottage cheesy like from the 6th day. And it really does help. You can actually also get this over the counter from a pharmacy, and just tell the pharmacist that you've got a thrush, or you just tell your symptoms, and then they'll be able to assist you what you have. And if they feel, or from the symptoms that you've told them, that this might be a bit too serious, they'll then advise you to go and see a gynecologist. But for safety's sake, if your discharge is looking yellow and if it's looking green, I would run to the gynecologist. I wouldn't be going to just the pharmacy. But obviously gynecologists are very expensive. They range from like 500 rands up to 1,000 rand a consultation. I know, very expensive. I remember the last consultation that I went for was like 900 rand. I was like, are you kidding me? And it was just for a regular checkup, you guys. I just went for a pap smear, and I was like, 900 rands, dang girl. But obviously there's different gynecologists. Some will be 500 rand, some will be 900 rand, 1,000 rand. And also I think it depends on what you're having, what you going to have checked out. So those are the types of yeast infection. So a yeast infection can be caused by an imbalance in your pH levels. So if maybe you've been using these scented body intimate washes that some people use, that can cause an imbalance. Or sometimes maybe if you've been soap, or maybe if there's just something that you've been eating, that's really caused an imbalance, and then it just irritates her. Or maybe a pad that you were using that's really irritated her, or there's just different various things that can actually cause an imbalance. Sometimes I know that if you're wearing very tight pants, and if you're wearing tight pants and if you're wearing nylon underwear and tight pants, and then maybe you have an electric blanket, so at night you switch on your electric blanket, the heat can become too much, and then it can actually overpower her, because remember, you have good bacteria and you have bad bacteria. So then the bad bacteria will just overtake and just become too much, and then cause an imbalance, and then you will have a thrush or a yeast infection that is coming up. So it can be very, very irritating and itchy, and just oof, trust me guys, it's not an experience that you want to have. That thing is just whoa. So just make sure when you're sleeping, either don't sleep with underwear or just try and wear cotton based underwear, because, and just also try and switch on the electric blanket before you sleep, so that by the time that you get into the blankets you've already switched it off, and then it's not as hot in there. It's just warm enough for you to go inside and just sleep. So try that. And then or just try having extra blankets to keep you nice and warm. And also just try using normal soap or unscented soap, or don't use soap at all when you're cleaning her up. And also just watch what you eat, just watch what you eat. Don't eat too many sweet things, because they will cause the acidity to be too much in your vagina, and then thrush will just come through. Also it can also be caused by sexually transmitted disease. If you don't use unprotected sex, if you're having unprotected sex, you're more than likely to get a yeast infection. Also during foreplay, sometimes juices can be transferred between the two parties, and that's the infection being passed to the next party. So just try and be safe when you're having foreplay, and just try and go and get regular checkups, so that you know that you and your partner are both safe before you engage in unprotected sex. And also just be sure that your partner is safe and you're also safe before you engage in any sexual activity. Actually get tested for HIV, get tested for any other STIs, just be safe. So what I normally use to protect myself is I've started using this brand as protection. And trust me guys, it's like its name, it gives you a skin feel. Yo, inland. So lovely on your it's really lovely, you guys. Just try it out and then you'll feel how good it is. And I really enjoy it, I really enjoy it. It has a natural feeling. Also, if you're allergic to latex, then you should probably go for her, because she doesn't have any latex, and it just gives you a natural feeling. I actually love it. I actually saw this, I was influenced by K Yams, but anyway, absolutely love it. So you can also go and try it out for yourself. But obviously you can see mine is still not used, because baby girl is single and she's gonna be single for a year. So, well, until I get someone that is good enough, I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna be single for a while, so, but always just always be safe, you guys. You just always be safe. A woman should always have protection in her bag, protection in her house, and I always just try and keep safe. I know that you don't have to have, I don't have to buy the big pack, because obviously I'm single, so what are the chances of me having sex, but you never know. You never really know. So you always have to have protection close by. My mom always told me that you need to have protection close by, because when shit comes to shove and you're like, what you gonna do? Exactly. So just be like, I've got something in my wardrobe. Ta-da. Or sometimes, you know how guys are like, oh, sorry, I didn't bring any protection. I've got protection, let's use it. Don't try your luck over here. So those are the products that I use. So just to also tell you something that I didn't tell you, and I wouldn't suggest this really much, but if you really are in pain and you really cannot go to a doctor or a pharmacist or a gynecologist at that immediate moment, and you've got plain yogurt, plain yogurt, please do not use sweetened yogurt on your vagina. It needs to be plain, guys, because if you put any sweetened yogurt on your vagina, you are going to get the baddest infection ever. It's going to be so bad, you guys. It's do not play with that. Even if your boyfriend is like, oh, I want to actually go down on you, let's put in some yogurt that to just make it taste more nice. Listen, if you feel that she doesn't taste nice naturally, then you probably shouldn't be going down on me, okay? Don't put any yogurts to make your taste, I don't know. If you feel that she's not sweet enough for you, then rather don't go there, because don't do it, okay? Also, if there was this one time this person tried to use Ultramel, guys. Yo, this person wanted to use Ultramel. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna have an infection. He was like, no, don't worry, I've used this before. I was like, oh. I was like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So do not let anybody use anything on your vagina that is sweetened. It should be plain yogurt that you apply on her if she's really itchy, and it will kind of calm her down a little bit. And also, if you're having a burning sensation and when you pee you feel that you just wanna, oh guys, I've had this before. You know when you go and pee and you just feel like there's more in there, and you just try and push and push and push. I actually pushed so much this one time that I actually bled. It was so bad, you guys. So don't play around with this. Don't play around with your vagina. If you actually feel for one moment something that is bad that's happening in there, go and see a doctor. I was there, but luckily for me, I always go to a doctor, because my mom always told me, girl, if you see anything different in your vagina, you better run to the doctor, all right? So that's one night I was just trying so hard to squeeze, because I was like, there's so much in my bladder, and then I started bleeding. And that's how bad it can be when you have a bladder infection or a yeast infection that's really bad. So what my mom advised me to always have in my house is to always have citric soda, so that I can just put it in water and just split it up and then drink it, and then it normalizes in your vagina. Also, if you don't have any citric soda around, you can actually try Eno. It does actually help. So you can also drink that, and then it will normalize the pH balances in your vagina. But always stick to citric soda though. Just use Eno and J if there's like a really, like, you have nothing else in the house and this is really bad, just try and use that. And also stick to drinking some cranberry juice, because it also helps. And yeah, you guys, that is all that I have to tell you about your vaginas today and how to keep her safe. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you loved this video and you thought it was informative, please give it a thumbs up, and also comment down below any methods that you might think would be useful to someone who is becoming of age. You know, we have diamonds that still young, that are becoming women, that need this information. You know, some of them don't even know who to go to when they start having their periods. And I would always advise to the young diamonds that go to your mom, don't go to your friend, because your friend might be telling you something that they heard from another friend that they had from another friend, and that information is never valid. Go to your mom, she knows better. And I know sometimes it might seem as though, what does she know? But she knows better, trust me. And also, this is a place that you could actually just this is Diamond's family. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, always put down a comment below. I'll be more than ready to give you as enough information that I know is accurate, and I'll even go as far as asking my mom, who's a nurse, for you, if what you could use to help yourself. So yeah, you guys, let this be your new best friend, okay? And let her be your new best friend. If you're taking anything from today, panty liners and wipes should be your new best friend from after this video. And of course, protection. Use protection. Use protection. Use protection. So yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And I will see you on my next video. Hey diamonds, welcome back. Hey diamonds, welcome back to my channel. And yeah, I always do that voice when I'm a bit nervous. So if you ever notice in most videos that I'm a bit just know that I'm nervous.